From NOLA with the Forstalls. This is Chats with Chip. One-on-one conversations with my father, mentor, and hero, Chip Forstall. He's an attorney and a lover of all things New Orleans, here to share his expertise and opinions with you. What's up, New Orleans? Welcome to the podcast. Hi, Chip. Hi, Dad.
Hello, son.
Let's get started. So the first topic we're going to talk about with Chats with Chip is what being a father has taught you about leadership. At what point in your law career, what point in your life did you become a father?
Well, that's with the older sister and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was out of law school because I had got graduated in law school. Then I think it was about 3 or 4 years after law school, I had your sister, Jessica. So I was actually a lawyer before I was a dad. Mm-hmm. And then I had 3 kids, you, Jacques, and Jessica. I have to tell you something. It was there's things from the law practice that helped me be a better parent. And there's things from being a parent that helped me be a better lawyer, a better leader at the office.
So kind of like synergistic.
Yeah, it really is because you learn. I mean, if you're smart, you pick up and you learn from whatever experiences you have in your life. You try to learn from those.
In those early parts of fatherhood and obviously early parts of your career, what changed from, before becoming a dad and after becoming a dad during your law career?
I always tell people when you have a child, you think you love your mom, you think you love your daddy, you think you love your wife. Until you have a child, you don't know what true unconditional love is. And as most probably everybody knows, that taking care of kids is a full-time job. Takes a lot of energy and effort. And it kind of blended in right with the kind of person I was because I was taking care of my brothers and sisters. I think being a dad reinforced the idea of taking care of people. And I have to tell you, that's been kind of the guiding light of my whole life is just taking care of people. Taking care of my kids until they were about 15 or 16 was a real joy. After that, they were a pain in the butt. But I think it emphasizes how important it is to take care of people. So being a father, being able to take care of my children, kind of blended over to taking care of my clients. And since I've been practicing law, I've always said my clients are like family. Sometimes you yell, sometimes you scream, but you always take care of them and stuff. And you always try to do what's best. Never said I do, always do what's best. Always try to do what's best. Try to make smart decisions. And make decisions, and I know I'm not supposed to say this per se, it's supposed to be logic, but a lot of times I make my decisions from my heart about clients because I care about them. And,
right. And I think that's what makes us different,
I definitely believe that because most of our business is referrals and people come back. The other day we had somebody who was a grandchild and he said, my grandmama told me if you go to anybody else but Chip, I'm going to get mad at you. That's the kind of loyalty.
Third generation.
But that's because, I treat them like family and they know it.
And so going back to your early parts of your career when, you were building a practice, building your law career while raising a family, being torn from work and home, like how do you balance that? How do you, juggle that where, you're demanded at both places and something's got to give? How do you balance that?
That's probably the single toughest thing to do is the balance. Because, some days you'd come home and you're so tired, you don't know what, you just want to sit down and do nothing, but you go home and your kids are there. I think coming home from work was always the reward for working. I wanted to provide for my family, provide the things that I didn't have growing up, raise them in a little bit different way. Perfect example is my daddy. I knew my daddy loved me a lot, but in the old days, they didn't tell you they loved you as much. And so as a result, I made sure I told my kids how much I love them. And I can honestly look you in the eye and tell you family always comes first. I mean, it still does to this day. Family's more important than anything else in the world. I think I made sure I never missed anything important. I made sure that when I came home, I tried to always be in a good mood. And that was tough sometimes because at the beginning of the practice, I took in everything I did. I had to pay. I tell you what I did do. I tell you how the family helped the law practice. As a father, you have to be patient because you love your kids. And as a lawyer, I found out that having patience is a very good quality. I think being a dad helped me to be more patient with my clients because sometimes some of my clients are like kids. They don't understand. You got to explain it to them. You got to be patient, but it's been interesting.
Sure. So,
but I made sure. I never forget one time I had a deposition. I never forget this. I had a deposition like at 5:30 one afternoon from a doctor. And it was around 4 o'clock, and I didn't realize it was either you or your brother. We were playing football. And I remember calling up the defense attorney and saying, look, I'll come if I have to, but is there any way we can postpone this? My son's playing a football game, and I really don't want to miss it. And the guy said, you know what? I got a son too, not a problem. And that was part of that relationship you build with lawyers. And I was able to cancel the deposition, go to the football game. I never forget that. So I made sure I was there for the important things.
Right. And even as busy as you were, you still put family first.
That was the days when I was working from 8 to 6 and 9 to 1 on Saturdays.
I want to dig into that because you talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
One thing that I want to know, because I'm in the thick of it right now in terms of work, right? As I'm transitioning into managing in the firm and taking over everything, I'm noticing, at 6, 7 o'clock at night, when you got so much stuff to do, when do you cut it off? Like, when do you say, okay, I got to go home because I got to go take care of my kids. I got to go spend time with them, but I know I have all this work to do.
Generally speaking, I cooked dinner. So that was kind of the cutoff for me to get home enough time to cook dinner. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I cooked dinner on the weekends and just served it on the weekdays, but I was always home for dinner. We always, you recall this and stuff. We always ate as a family. That's pretty much when I cut it off. Now, I'm not telling you that when you went to sleep, I didn't go back to the office or I didn't do work at home after you were sleeping. From the time I got home to the time y'all went to bed, I tried to be present in that moment and spend time with y'all. And then afterwards, I would to this day, I bring work home every day. He
does. He really does.
Yeah, I can't help myself. It's just habit.
Wow. And when you became a father, I know my story is crazy, and we'll get to that in a different podcast. But becoming a father, how did that change your goals and how you measure success and what you saw, yourself in 10 years? Like, how did that change?
When I first got started, I didn't like being poor. I wanted to be rich. And then I realized that money doesn't buy happiness. And I know it's easy for me to say because I've done well, but it's the truth and stuff. There is absolutely nothing more important than the health and happiness of your family, well-adjusted children. And as you know, I have one son that's, has struggled. I'm raising my grandkids and stuff. And I used to tell people all the time I'd trade every penny I had to go back in time if I could have fixed something and have him be a normal child as opposed to having problems. Now, good news is he's doing well today. But there is nothing more important than family.
And did you realize that even more after you became a father?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, again, it goes back down to you would die for your children. At least I would.
Yeah. I know when I became a father, it totally changed. And you kept telling me that. You said, when you become a father, you'll see. And I said, yeah. And then I became a father.
And just to let the people know that even now to this day, I'll say, what about this? Can you go cover this and stuff? He goes, no, I have to bring my child to gymnastics. And I said, I understand,
And he does.
Yeah, because he had to go to a fundraiser the other night. He goes, I can't go to the fundraiser. She's got gymnastics and stuff.
That's right. That's true.
And I said, okay, we'll send somebody else.
But it's, that's what you taught me. Family first.
No, family first. It is.
Your biggest fear in your early fatherhood, was it not being able to provide, or not showing up?
I knew I could provide the minimum because my parents did. Because again, we had 8 of us, and it's only 3 of y'all. So I wasn't fear of providing because I knew I could provide. I was always thrifty with my dollars at the beginning, so I was always provide. It was really for the concern was to make sure that y'all were healthy, well fed, and well reared. And that was difficult sometimes and stuff because if you're too tired from work, I was always afraid of being too tired to say, oh, don't worry about it, let it slide, let it slip, don't make your bed, don't finish your dinner, don't put your dishes in the sink because, all of that stuff takes effort. And to this day, at 72, I still got to tell my kids who are now 15 and 18, did you make your bed, take your bath, put your dishes in the dishwasher, did you do your homework? And that all takes energy.
Yeah.
So,
and just so the audience knows, that Chip doesn't have a 15 and 18-year-old child. He adopted
my grandchildren.
But they call them, you
right.
call them children, but
but
they are your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, being a New Orleanian through and through, born and raised, never
live in the same neighborhood. I'm 72, lived in the same neighborhood for 64 years.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I love my city. I'll never move out.
Being a New Orleanian, do you think shaped the way you've parented
the way it shapes all of us and stuff? I truly believe this and stuff is we're a close-knit community. We care for each other. Eating, drinking, having a good time together. It's always, that's why, after these people have these, they win the Super Bowl and you have these parades and everybody goes crazy and they burn cars and do stupid stuff. Here we just one big party because people want to get along. I really believe that. I think that's what makes the city different is the family atmosphere of the city. And, we've got, let's see, between New Orleans and Jefferson Parish, 800,000 people or about. And and I've been all over the world and stuff. It's really about family here and stuff. And that transcends into how we raise kids. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen multi-generations living in the same house and grandparents taking care of grandkids and stuff. And it's just, helping with grandkids. It's the way we are I truly believe is different than most other places in the country.
And I think I absolutely agree. New Orleans, everyone that's even not from here says it's not like any other place.
No, it's not.
It's really not. So how does that shape you as a father to lead, to raising your
kids? Make it realize that everything's not work. In other words, I could have been 3 times as rich as I am if I would have just concentrated on money. But that's not important. Money, I have enough. And when I got to that point where I felt secure and stuff, I wasn't driven by money. I know it sounds crazy being a plaintiff's attorney, but it's not. I like helping people. That's why I give back so much.
And I think the people who know you believe that. They really do. It's not,
I like, again, I think, we're one big community and stuff. And, most people help their mom. I help their dad. He helped their brother. I got a friend of mine his brother just had a colonoscopy and stuff. I haven't seen you. That's what you've been doing. He goes, I've been working extra shifts because my brother can't support himself right now. And I've got to come up with about $2,000 extra a month to support my brother. That's what the city's about. We help each other. And I think that whole attitude is permeates through everything. It's exactly how I run my firm.
So how has fatherhood changed how you deal with conflict?
The hard way, but I've learned that everybody can have a bad day. You can't get mad at everybody for everything. So it's made me more patient, which is not my greatest virtue, but it has made me more patient with my kids, made me more patient with my clients. I never forget, there's only been about 3 or 4 times in my entire life that I've ever yelled at a client. And it's amazing because I had over 30,000 of them. And each 3 times I remember, and each 3 times it was the wrong thing to do. And it never solved anything. So my kids have taught me being patient, and everybody can have a bad day. Because, a child wakes up, and I still have one of my granddaughters. She's 18, and sometimes she comes down in the morning, and I tell her good morning, I get a huh. The other one comes down singing. So I've learned that, sometimes it's best to leave them alone. People have bad days. Don't blame them for having a bad day. It's not necessarily their fault. So when you come to see me and stuff, if you have it, sometimes they get nasty. The clients get a little nasty or something, and the paralegal, the attorney, one of them like, we gotta fire them or whatever. Bob, they get all excited. I said, man, let me tell you something. I said, you've had a bad day. I've had a bad day. I said, they had a bad day. I said, it's not personal. You just had a bad day. Relax. Don't worry about it. Sure enough, I'll call them up and say, hey, man, I heard you were mad about something. You're having a bad day. You would be surprised at how many of them say, yeah, they weren't mad at us. They were mad at something else. And they just, got aggravated. Now, there are a few people who just, no matter what you do, they're nasty. Those people we get rid of.
Right. Well, and then every one of our clients comes to us and they have a problem. And, they come with a problem.
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 And so that's usually a stressful time in their life.
Yes.
So would you say that fatherhood as a parent taught you more about how to practice law and how to boss? or the other way around, that being running a law firm?
Combination of both and stuff. What taught me, the father part taught me about being patient with people and stuff, and realizing everybody can have a bad day no matter what. Because I mean, they were my children, and I mean, I know what goes on in their life, and they can wake up in the morning in a bad mood and just have a bad day. What I think the law practice has taught me is the same thing in reverse order and stuff. Sometimes people come in. It's how you talk to people. I mean, you can yell at people, which I'm gonna tell you right now, you never. Not just as a lawyer, but even as a dad, you don't want to yell at people, raise your voice. As soon as you do, people become defensive and you lose communication skills. And it happens at my house. And I'm not telling you I haven't got mad at my children sometimes, because sometimes they're very frustrated and stuff. And I think practicing law and understanding that from that end also bleeds over to my house and stuff, and just communication is the key. We try real hard with the app, the different things that we do, the things. I tell everybody in the office, the only person to yell at a client is me, not even you. The only person to yell at a client is me, because I'll take the heat off of y'all and stuff, and I know that I'm not going to yell at the client.
Right. I don't think you've yelled at a client since I've been an attorney.
I can tell you right now, I remember the last time I yelled at some little boy. He was 23 years old, and he was aggravating everybody in the office. And I was having a bad day, and I yelled at him, and he didn't leave the office 15 minutes. I tracked him down and apologized. Had him come back, bought him lunch, and gave him a hug and said, "I'll never happen again." That's the last time I ever yelled at a client.
I think people appreciate that. Even if you have a bad day, I think if you apologize and you just acknowledge it.
And you learn that as a dad. If you tell your child, you tell your dad, you tell your child, "Sorry for yelling at you, sorry for losing my temper and stuff." They're like,
like, "Oh my gosh." Right?
Yeah. I did yell at a client. You did remember me yelling at one, raising my voice to one. The one that wasn't even a client. She came into the office and she was accusing us, to tell me I'm a liar or whatever. And I'm never a liar. And I got aggravated with her, and I raised my voice. I didn't yell. I raised my voice to her and stuff. And the funny thing, she wasn't even a client. But I got to tell you something, that was a mistake too. I should have just said, "Okay, you got your opinion, please leave my office. But you don't insult my integrity, ever."
Yeah.
That's a no-no.
Yeah, and
that's a no-no.
And
I'm gonna tell you, I don't take that from anybody, not anybody. And I'm telling you right now, nobody, because that I've spent my entire life doing the right thing, being straight and honest with people. Right. I got to tell you something.
You should be protective of that.
I am protective of that, because it's one of my, I call it one of my real qualities in life.
Yeah, your core values. That's
who you are.
That's
who I am. I'm gonna tell you right now, that is who I am.
Absolutely. So was there ever a time that you felt that you were, I think you mentioned this, but too soft as a parent?
Same thing with my clients. I got clients who come in and give me a sob store, don't even have a case, and I loan them money. I can't help myself. I hope my clients don't listen to this, because I'm a softie. I mean, but the answer is that, sometimes you come home and you don't want to fight, because I tell them, I've had a couple of wives, I make no bones about it, but I always tell them I don't want to fight, because I fight all day long, and not with my clients. I fight with the insurance companies, defense lawyers. That's what we do. We're adversarial and stuff, so I don't want to fight. And sometimes I go home and, it is easier just to say, you broke this, no problem. I'll just buy you new and don't act, whatever. It is easier.
So as a parent, how do you decipher when to, let me guide them versus let them figure it out, because this is a learning lesson?
Well, I got to tell you something. I made a mistake with you're the youngest by, how much younger than you, Jacques?
Jacques is 7 years older.
Yeah. So I learned that better as life went on. It's easier for me to tell somebody what to do than to try to explain how to do it, and then let them do it, learn from the mistakes. But I've been very good with you about that. And I have a mentor who told me that. He goes, "You got to let them make mistakes, because if you don't let them make mistakes, they're never going to truly learn." And we had the conversation with my older one and stuff, and she had a problem with her car. You could call me up. What am I going to do? You got to fix it. I told her, "No, sweetheart." I said, "You have to figure it out yourself." "What do you mean I have to figure it out myself?" And she had jumper cables in her car, left the light on. I said, "You have to, well, what do I said, figure it out." And she did, because she's a smart girl and stuff. So I found out that, again, people learn. I'm going to tell you right now, my people in my office, I let them make mistakes. And I tell them, as soon as they get hired here, you're going to make mistakes. I don't have a problem with that. Everybody makes mistakes. But if you continue to make the same mistake over and over, it means you just don't care, and you will be fired. So I'll give them an opportunity, and then I try to explain to them what the mistake is, why they made the mistake, so they don't do it again. But I find that people learn better when they do, and they make a mistake and they correct it, as opposed to just you telling them what to do. In the first 5-10 years of my practice and stuff, I just basically told everybody what to do. And then I learned hard way that that's not the way to train people. I mean, and what's happened was when you only have 100 files, it's one thing. But when you get to be 1,000 files, you can't do that because even though I look at every file, I can't tell everybody what to do in every case. You got to hire competent people. And you got to let them learn.
And you got to teach them why.
You got to tell them the whys. I've been a big believer in that. My ex-partner used to say, we don't have to explain anything to him. I said, we disagreed 100%.
Yeah, I'm with
you. You got to explain it to them why you're doing things, why the logic part of it. Then they think and they understand. Then they buy in. Same thing with kids.
Mm-hmm.
You explain to them why. Poppy, can I have a party at the house with like 10 people, 5 boys and 5 girls? Sure, baby. You know, some of them are going to be drinking. I said, that ain't happening. Why is that happening? I had to explain to her that the reason that's not happening is because if one of those little boys drinks and gets in trouble, I'm going to get arrested for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Mm-hmm. And if I get convicted of anything, I'm losing my license to practice law. And sweetheart, you can't make enough money to support us. Oh, I didn't know about it. I didn't know. Really? You can get in trouble? I said, yeah, I can get in trouble.
But as opposed to just telling her no and then being like, oh, Poppy didn't want me to do that. Now she understands the why.
She understands the why.
It's very important. But how has leadership in fatherhood translated mostly into the law firm?
You lead by example. You can't tell your children not to smoke and you smoke. You can't tell your children to not speed and you speed. You can't tell your children to make their bed and you don't make their bed. You got to set the example. Same thing at the office and stuff. That's why lately you've been trying to get me to slow down and stuff, and I feel guilty. I felt guilty for years because if I was expecting my people to be there at 8:30, I wanted to be there at 8:35. If I wanted them to work for an hour for lunch, I made sure my lunch was basically an hour and stuff. If I wasn't feeling great, but I could come in, I would come in. I did that for 30, 40 years. And it's just the last couple of years, mostly because of you. I'm coming in later, leaving a little bit earlier, taking off on Fridays. I've been talking about taking off on Fridays for 10 years, 15 years. And I finally, this year, did it. I still have twinges of guilt. Even though everybody says, oh, you deserve it, 46 years, blah, blah, blah. But it's still, I just believe you. What did I used to do? With cleanup day, what did I do?
He wiped the baseboards.
I wiped the baseboards for years and years and years. You lead by example.
Why did you do the baseboards?
Because I figured if I told the staff, if I do the baseboards, I'll just let them know that I do the baseboards. Means I would do anything it takes to get the job done.
Doing the baseboards was something nobody wanted to do.
Right. So I did it. And I let them know that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I expect the same thing from them.
Yeah. And I think that's really translated me because, I mean, I'm just like you in so many ways that my goal is to get here before everybody and stay after everybody, except for Lawrence.
Except for Lawrence. Nobody beats Lawrence. Nobody can beat Lawrence.
But if I can stay after, if I get here before everybody, I stay here after everybody, I show them that I'm working hard. Lead by example.
Yep.
Lead by example. And how is leadership in the workplace different from at home?
It's actually easier because they have to do what I tell them to do. My wife and my kids don't have to do what I tell them to do, even though I think they should, but they don't. Just, make your bed. If you don't make your bed, no big deal. File a petition. If you don't file a petition, it's a big deal. So leadership here is a little more authoritative and stuff because I am responsible. I'm responsible for my kids, but that's a little bit different. I'm not responsible if they make their bed than I am, but it does make a difference. But here you're responsible for any mistakes and stuff. I tell you all the time and stuff, if one of the lawyers makes a mistake, I got to pay the price. If somebody here does something wrong, I got to write the check. So I take my responsibility very seriously and stuff. So that's why I have a tendency. And the other thing is it's nice here because since I really am the boss and I pay them, they got to do what I tell them to do, which is kind of nice, but it doesn't work at home.
That's because you don't pay them enough.
Right.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Room and board, they don't consider that payment, right? Yeah.
They don't know how lucky they got it, right?
Right.
But talking about our law firm, we pride ourselves, and this is really from when you started the firm, is being where we take care of clients like our own family. What does that mean to you?
Everybody, including me, like to be taken care of, like to be helped. And I can tell you right now, I remember the acts of kindness that people give me come back. There's a couple of guys who've really been through when I went through thick and thin. And there's nothing I tell them, this is what I tell them. I said, if you get drunk on the side of the road and you need somebody to come pick you up, call me, I'll come get you. I believe in taking care of the clients because they take care of you. And I mean, 80+% of our clients are clients of returns or referrals. And it's because we take care of them stuff. And it's not a transactional deal. It's not, well, I'm going to take care of you because you can send me some business. We take care of them. I take care of them because I care about them. And I think you can't fake that. You can fake it a day. You can fake it for a minute. But you can't fake that concern for 46 years. Either you care about your clients or you don't. You care about the money or you care about your clients. I'm telling you right now, if any young lawyers are out there hearing this, take care of your clients. They will take care of you. And I can give you so many examples of how that works and stuff. Like the clients who come, I mean, I got to tell you something, it's hilarious. They come over, they need a couple of dollars. You don't have a case, but I'll get a case one day. And they're not kidding. And when they get a case, they come back. But it's helping people. It's helping them with the traffic tickets, helping them with letters, helping them. Sometimes they just want somebody to listen to them and stuff. And that's the nice part about having you here. Now I can do that stuff more often, which I really like doing. I like my clients. I mean, I love my clients.
And one thing you taught me early on in my career was take care of the clients. Don't put money first.
Right.
Put the client first and the money.
Money comes.
It comes.
It always does. I mean,
46 years.
Yeah, 46 years and we're successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we can round it out better than that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Check in next week for another great podcast. See you all next time.
From NOLA with the Forstalls is presented by Jonathan and Chip Forstall. Executive producer, Mona Lisa Johnson, Sierra Media Productions. Host, Jonathan Forstall. Casting director, Jonathan Thomas, Ascension Branding and Marketing. Post-production editor and voiceover talent, Matt Palowski, Redline Studios in New York City. Produced by Ascension Branding and Marketing and Sierra Media Productions. Thanks for listening.